How good is this? Down to the final day of the regular season. The Dodgers and Rockies both at 90 and 71. The Rockies and the Nationals get started in just a few minutes from Coors Field, as the Dodgers try to win their 6th consecutive division title, with this run beginning in 2013 when they turned the season around, came back to win it by a bunch, did the same in 2014. The 2015 season, they won it by 8 games. In 16, a rough start. 17, they cruised, clinching the division on September 23rd. And this year, in a season where they trailed by as many as 9 games and sat at 16 and 26 in mid-May, the final day of the regular season, a chance to win the title.
This team, this manager, these guys will remember this day the rest of their life, and they hope it is a fond memory, and they hope they can perform up to what they've always dreamed about, which is being the hero in a game like this.
Well, one of the big storylines each day throughout this run has been, what is the lineup going to look like? Here's your answer to that for game 162. Chris Taylor will lead it off, then Justin Turner. David Freese hits third, with Manny Machado, the cleanup hitter, and shortstop. In center field, maybe the hottest Dodger hitter, Kike Hernandez, with Matt Kemp starting in right. So they go for the righty-lefty matchup with Kemp over righty-righty or lefty-righty with Puig. Not as good a defense, but better matchup offensively. Grandal does the catching, and Brian Dozier, the second baseman, hitting 8th. Against the rookie Andrew Suarez, who's had a pretty good season. The Dodgers have seen him once. In mid-August, he fired 6 shutout innings at Dodger Stadium.
A solid rookie season, and those innings at Dodger Stadium, what really supported him was the slider. Got a lot of ground balls. He can give up the fly ball, and he can give up the home run, and that's usually on hanging breaking balls, something Dodgers will be hunting today.
Dodgers win, Rockies lose. Division champs for the 6th time. They both win. Game 163 tomorrow. Fasten those seat belts. Off we go with ball 1 on Taylor. 3rd different leadoff hitter that Dave Roberts has used in this series, with Kike Hernandez and his numbers against Madison Bumgarner being the selection Friday night, and then Jock Peterson yesterday. Both those guys had good days. Taylor's had a good month at .345 in September. He waits this 1-1 and takes it low for ball 2.
Dodgers have been a very patient team throughout the year. This is a good day to take your walks and don't force your hand.
Three and 1.
The mentality of passing the baton, of setting the table. You have to fight back the urge to be the hero, and to be the hero usually you have to swing the bat, but somebody's got to get on first.
Taylor corks one down the line. It's hooking foul, and the count goes full. The Dodgers have gone 12 and 4 over their last 16 games. 3-1 on Friday night, 10-6 yesterday. They opened today with a walk from Taylor, something they had 7 of in yesterday's game to go along with the 18 hits, scoring those 10 runs. Giants defense today brought to you by Keck Medicine of USC, and it looks like this, with a Gold Glover Crawford at short, star player on this defense. Giants have dropped 8 of 9. And one of the worst months in their franchise's history. 5 and 20 here in September. With a man at first and nobody out, here's Justin Turner. Suarez allowed 2 hits when he faced the Dodgers in August. Both of them Turner doubles.
Turner was not in the hit parade yesterday, but that was a rare day for the Dodgers and for him.
On an 0-1, he takes strike 2. Yeah, 357 since the All-Star break. One of The best hitters in baseball as he's gotten healthy from that season opening wrist injury to the hamstring that he dealt with through July. Even battling through a bit of a thumb injury this week. On an 0-2, he takes it high for ball one.
Yeah, healthy with an asterisk. He has been in there on a daily basis. They can't be without him. They've rested him when they can, but whether he is completely healthy or just nicked up, his presence is one of the things that really make the Dodgers go.
2 balls and 2 strikes. And the bottom line shows that. 21 games above 500 when Turner's in there. 2 games below 500 when he's not. Much of that coming with a 16-26 start. Season turned around almost directly corresponding with his return. Back-to-back full counts to start the day.
Being able to take the walk also builds a lot of hitters counts. So the patience can pay off with a free base, but it also can pay off with some cookies in the strike zone. We saw that with Taylor with that ball he pulled so hard down the line.
There goes Taylor as Turner pumps it foul, and we'll do it again. So often through the year you've seen the Dodgers have days like they had yesterday with the 10 runs and then follow that up with a quiet offensive day. Here on the final day of the season, trying to string it together, build off that momentum. He's fouled off back-to-back 3 and 2 pitches. And stays 3 balls and 2 strikes on Turner. He's ready for the 8th pitch of this at bat. It's a 26-year-old rookie out of Miami, Florida, Andrew Suarez. Pitching pretty well down the stretch. Last 6 starts, sub-3 earned run average. Here he comes with another 3-2, and Turner pokes a base hit down the line. Taylor was off and moving. He reaches third easily. Pence picks it up late. Taylor comes in to score. They're off and rolling. 1-0 before there's an out.
Dave Roberts injects some aggressiveness with the Dodger offense, and his managing has Taylor running the whole time. Justin Turner, an absolutely amazing swing. Committed the body, but kept the hands back and just flicked that ball down the right field corner. The ball's headed to second. That means Taylor can head home.
So Turner with an RBI double here in the first inning. Dodgers 1, Giants nothing. And David Freese watches a breaking ball for a strike. We talk about how good Turner's been in the second half. That average for Freese with the Dodgers, 371. That leads the National League during that time. He strokes a base hit the other way. 3 hitters and 2 runs for the Dodgers as Freese drives home Turner.
What a start by the Dodger offense. A walk and then a couple of hits. The double by Turner, and now Freese right behind him. Can't ask for anything better.
And now Machado, still nobody out. Strike 1. Dodgers have already scored as many runs against Andrew Suarez as he allowed 5 innings in his last start against St. Louis. We mentioned he didn't give anything up against the Dodgers last time in August. 1 ball and 1 strike. Something about getting that safety net by clinching the wild card yesterday is seemingly giving this team a sense of lightness in around the clubhouse after the game yesterday and before the game today. It is not a mood of a team who has a lot to play for today.
You go from playing every game being the biggest game of the year, and all of a sudden you do get that net, that a little bit of breath of fresh air where you can finally breathe a little bit. Well, it sure freed up the bats.
Yeah, 2-2. I should say not a mood of a team who has a big game weighing on them.
Yes.
You know, I don't know what the right way mood-wise to approach a day like this is, but seem to be having fun and a lot of smiles even before the game started. Still 2-2. Again, if they win and Colorado loses, they clinch the division championship today. If both teams win, Dodgers and Rockies play tomorrow at 1 at Dodger Stadium to decide the division. If the Dodgers were to lose and the Rockies won, Dodgers go to the wild card game Tuesday. Down the right field line foul. Still 2-2. Suarez, somebody who they want to keep an eye on as far as the pitch count. He only averages about 85 pitches per outing. This will be his 23rd, and he's still looking for the first out. It's another 2-2. Machado grounds one off of the hands to third. He's going to get 2 outs on 1 pitch. 5-4-3 double play. Bases empty as Kike Hernandez comes up and into our Land Rover Performance Spotlight. How about the series he's had so far?
He has changed himself into a professional hitter. He used to be a hitter with a lot of potential, but now he is a reliable source of offensive output. And they trust him. Move him up in the order, put him up there in big situations, don't pinch hit for him. He has really grown as a player.
He takes strike 1 from Suarez. And that's happened, he would tell you, as he has tried less, slowed everything down, not swinging as hard. Quickly, no balls and 2 strikes. The thought for him was, I put in a lot of work this offseason to get my body in shape, to get stronger. Let that work and let the physicality do its thing. You don't have to try extra hard to produce power.
His ability now has a plan, and the plan is to stay calm and to have an approach, not just to do things at the highest level.
Bouncing ball. Ooh, bad hop, but a nice play by Longoria, and that's the inning. But the Dodgers explode out of the gates on this Sunday afternoon. Taylor with the leadoff single. Turner brings him in with a double. Freese follows with an RBI hit of his own, and Rich Hill to the mound when you come back. hand here in what will probably be his final game in San Francisco with his contract expiring. The rest of the lineup you can take a look at as they take in this ovation. Had a great career here. Seventh year with the Giants, and that contract extension that he signed in 2013 expiring. This season ends. Rich Hill delivers his first pitch of the day. It's a fastball outside, and it's 1-0. And so the Dodgers electing to go with Rich Hill today instead of Walker Buehler, which was decided after the Nationals announced that they would not start Max Scherzer.
You know, this team is really negotiated through everything that could possibly be. The expansion of the rosters, the bullpen, 40 guys on the lineup. And I'll tell you what, they are playing to win all the way to the end. This is not about how do we do it today. This is the best chance over the long term. And so there could be some critique over daily decisions, but the total goal is to win it all.
2 balls, 2 strikes. I mean, there's a few things. First of all, you're already in.
Yep.
And of course, you want to win the division title over having to play game 163 or playing the wild card game, but you're already in. With the Nationals not starting Scherzer, you're no longer really expecting to get help from Washington. And so you kind of play with house money. You save Buehler for the game where you have to win, whether that's tomorrow or that's Tuesday in a wild card game. And the other thing is, Rich Hill is no slouch. His 2-2 pitch is a breaking ball that swung on and missed for strike 3. The Dodger defense behind him, brought to you by Keck Medicine of USC. Looks like this. One spot where they go offense over defense in particular is in right, where Puig doesn't start. Kemp does. Much better numbers against left-handed pitching this year. As we've so often seen, that lineup will change as the game goes on, especially with a tight game late. 2-0 in the first, and here's Joe Panik. Strike 1.
With pitching Rich Hill, it's really the Dodgers saying, if we have our backs against the wall to be knocked out of the playoffs, we want Buehler on the mound. Other than that, we're going to work as hard as we can with the other components to stay alive and move forward. But the do or die games are going to fall on Buehler and Kershaw if they're rested.
Chopper to the hole. Dozier gets there and gets him. That is part of the reason why in a 4-for-57 slide at the plate, he's still in there with the division on the line.
Karlskamp is going to capture it, and so is Brian Dozier with his last bit of effort. Full extension, and then once you get in this position and catch the ball, the ability to be able to get up that quick and throw it accurately and know where first base is. Eyes in the back of his head.
2 up, 2 down in this first inning, and Evan Longoria looks at a fastball for a strike. And what will be interesting is if there is a game 163 tomorrow, is that Buehler, or do they go with a bullpen game? Pop fly on the infield. That's Monty Grandal stepping over Longoria's bat to make the catch and finish off an 11-pitch inning. You may be saying a bullpen game in game 163. We'll dive into the strategy behind that shortly. Gives you a look at what the calendar might look like based on the outcomes today. Dodgers win, Rockies lose. They're off until the division series opener on Thursday. If they both win, they play game 163 tomorrow. The Dodgers lose and the Rockies win. They'll play in a wild card game in either Milwaukee or Chicago on Tuesday. Now Kemp digs one out and serves a single into left for the first pitch of the second against Suarez, who's having a rough go of it so far.
He has not landed his slider, and that was the pitch that really fooled the Dodgers the last time they saw him. The hits are coming off the fastball because the slider has not been that good yet.
How about this road trip for Yasmani Grandal? Always talk about his streakiness. He's catching a hot streak at the right time. 8 for his last 15 with 4 extra base hits. He's got at least 1. 4 straight games. The breaking ball misses as well, and it's 1-1. Got an update coming for you shortly from Denver. Opposite field, soft on back liner caught by Pence. Kemp back to the bag, 1 gone, and here's that update. Built for Baseball, brought to you by T-Mobile. A first inning home run for Nolan Arenado against the rookie Eric Fetty, who Washington goes with instead of Max Scherzer. And Fetty's been okay lately. He's a 25-year-old rookie with an ERA above 5 overall. He sure as heck ain't Max Scherzer. 1-on-1 out for Brian Dozier.
2 outs and a man on third, and give up the dinger, and that was a Colorado kind of home run. That wasn't a powerful swing. He just got under it and got some backspin.
Dozier already making an impact on this game, taking a hit away from Joe Panik with a diving play in the first. At the plate, he is 4 for his last 57. He's hit into some poor luck, but as you've pointed out, some of that poor luck is because he's so pull conscious, and he's easier to defend because of it. On a 2-0, he takes a strike.
Like some of our left-handed pull hitters, you see 3 guys on the right side. Well, 3 guys on the left side for Brian Dozier. One of those hard hit balls, even if they're one hoppers, a lot of times they're right at somebody.
Big rip and a miss at a low curve, and it's 2-2. Now, 4 times in the long history of the Dodgers, they've entered the final day of the season tied. For first place, that is. And in the 129-year history of the franchise, never have they entered the final day tied for first and then finished the day as champion. It kicks away from Hundley and allows Kemp to move into scoring position. It's not to say they've lost every time that they've entered the final day tied, but when they've won, so is the team they've been tied with.
Probably going to be great at a wild pitch, but Hundley should have had that ball.
Three and 2 on Brian Dozier, who pulls one foul.
With the horrible start the Dodgers had at the beginning of the year, to be tied for first here is still quite an accomplishment.
It's easier to say that now that they have at least wrapped up the spot in the postseason. That's a walk for Dozier after falling behind.
Well, everything is kind of flavored with the expectations.
Yeah, right.
So going into the season, expected to win their 6th division title in a row. Going into the season, expecting to be healthy. Well, that didn't happen. Justin Turner wasn't with them for a long time.
Here's Rich Hill.
Going into the season, expecting the rotation to be amazing with the original components. Well, that didn't happen. Stripling and Bueller, Ryu kind of rescued the main guys that should have been Kershaw and Alex Wood, Rich Hill. But you know what? They put it together with a lot of different things that you didn't expect in the season.
Yeah, so from an April 1st perspective, this is not impressive, but from a May 17th perspective, it is. Hill bunts it, but sharply. Suarez goes to second for 1, and they turn a double play. Second double play in the first 2 innings for Suarez. And we go to the bottom of the second, 2-0. The field now presented by El Pollo Loco. Here's Alana.
Joe, so much up in the air as far as the National League is concerned. Time now to look ahead, brought to you by Wells Fargo. And unless you're the Atlanta Braves, you have no idea what's going on or what your future holds. You can take a look at the seeding as far as possible NL postseason seeding. And the Cubs and Brewers are fighting for their playoff lives as far as the division and the wild card there in the NL Central. They could either be the 1 or the 4. The Braves, either the 2 or the 3. And then the Rockies and the Dodgers, so many different scenarios, of course, as they fight for the division and the wild card spot as well. 2, 3, or 5 for both of those teams. Almost seems fitting that they're both up 2-0 at the moment.
All right, Alana. What a final day for the National League and for baseball, as Rich Hill gets ready for his second inning after a 1-2-3 first.
Well, Rich Hill is trying to get out there and produce. The production he's gotten of late personally has been a little short of what he feels his standards are and the Dodgers are, and so he's been trying to make some adjustments, but he has gotten a lot of support from the offense in his last few starts and pinned up the results.
Huntley, Crawford, and Garcia coming up here. Yeah, Hill has an ERA above 5 this month, but is 4-0 because of that ridiculous amount of run support he's gotten. He gets strike 1 on Huntley. Here he comes with an 0-1 with a breaking ball for a strike and a different windup.
Yeah, he usually keeps it by the letters, his hands, and now he's going over his head, and I feel like he and Rick Honey thought, thought he was getting stuck a little bit with when to separate. So if you start that motion and take the hands over the head, you get a little better rhythm of matching up the upper body with the lower body.
He's got his second strikeout. He's retired the first 4 that he's faced.
If you're getting a little tired at the end of the season, you have a tendency sometimes to carry your hands down the hill, and then you break late, and then your arm is late and the ball is up. So to take your arms over your head, that rhythm that it produces usually gets you back on time.
Now facing a guy, Brandon Crawford, that has reached in 10 of his 17 plate appearances against him lifetime. But Hill gets ahead of him with a fastball. A curve hit off the end of the bat into shallow left field. Machado peels off at the last moment with Taylor taking charge.
Good communication right there. You would hate to lose either one of these two guys in a collision. And he raises his hand like he's got it. Chris raises his voice.
Two gone in the second, and the rookie Ramos Garcia. Ball 1. 0 for 4 yesterday after a 2-hit night on Friday. 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. Now, it was overall a pretty good game for the Giants offense yesterday. In fact, the most runs that they had scored since September 3rd. Wasn't enough, though, in a 10-6 Dodger win. Hill comes home with a 2-0 and gets strike 1. Two-one. Boy, that curve sweeps to the corner. 2-2.
He's had great success this year with his fastball, but it's because of this curveball. More and more swings and misses with the up and away fastball, more strikes and strikeouts with the fastball this year.
Breaking ball gets him looking. 6 up, 6 down for Rich Hill. And the Dodgers with a 2-0 lead. On to the 3rd in San Francisco. Giants just trying to salvage one. The Dodgers trying to win a division title. Second time through the order, Chris Taylor leads it off against Andrew Suarez and wraps one on the ground to short. Brendan Crawford, one pitch, one out. Dodgers already with as many base runners against Suarez as they had in 6 innings against him on August 14th. They fired 6 shutout innings. Here comes Justin Turner, started the scoring with a double. Change up for a strike.
When the Dodgers have hit the ball in the air, that's when they've got their hits. Line drive from Kemp. Line drive from Justin Turner. He flicked out there. David Freese, a line drive. The only out they've made in the air is a fly out to right by Grandal. Everything else has been, the outs have been on the ground.
Slaps it foul. No balls and 2 strikes. The 2-strike count that Turner collected his double on. Best 2-strike hitter in baseball. Look out, that one got him. Looks like he got the wrist and the hand out of the way, and he'll make his way down to first. Aboard with 1 out.
Does it clip him on the shoulder?
Yep.
Yep. As long as it's the meat there, like the tricep or so, right on the point of the shoulder, boy, that can leave a bruise for a long time.
1 on 1 out for David Freese, who lifts a fly ball to right that sends Pence back, turns around and watches it hit off the bricks. Freese headed to second. He is 2 for 2. And raises his National League best average since putting on the Dodger uniform.
What a great addition to the Dodgers. This lineup today, you've got Freese, Machado, and Dozier. Those additions, and boy, Freese is starting to look like one of the most valuable ones.
And the 1 out that he's made the last couple days, remember, was with the bases loaded yesterday. He corked the line drive to second. Hitting everything hard and everything hard the other way. A lot of times that's a telltale sign of a guy really seeing it well. Already action in the bullpen. It's Hunter Strickland. Second and third, 1 out, and here's Manny Machado. Tie-breaking double yesterday. Or tie-breaking triple yesterday to extend his hitting streak to 8 games. Probably his first kind of signature moment in a Dodger uniform. Numbers have been fine. Not been quite the numbers they were in Baltimore. But in those biggest moments, he was still looking to come through. Finally did with his opposite field triple.
He's very aggressive early in the count. He's a very good off-speed hitter. And now that he's looking like he's locked in, he is using the right side of the diamond, which will keep him on the fastball and back enough to hit the breaking ball.
On a 1-1 pitch, Machado strokes a curve, slicing to right center. That'll drop in for a hit. They had to wait to make sure that it would fall, so it brings home 1. And the Dodgers lead 3-0.
The team approach at bat. Second and third. Get him over, get him in. Get it to the outfield. Deep enough to get him in, shallow enough to fall in for a hit.
Extending the hitting streak to 9 games. And bringing up Kike Hernandez, still with just one out. Ball one. Hernandez wraps one to left. That's an RBI hit. They lead it 4-0 as Freese comes in. And here comes Bruce Bochy. Andrew Suarez, who delivered 6 shutout innings in his first start against the Dodgers in August, fails to make it through 3. He's allowed at least 4. The men at first and second, his responsibility. And the Dodgers in game 162 trying to, at the very least, force a division tiebreaker tomorrow, ahead 4-0. Two on, one out. Hunter Strickland checks in to pitch. You see Matt Kemp, who takes ball one low. Who's in, who's out, brought to you by In and Out. Suarez goes just 2 1/3 before Bruce Bochy has to get his bullpen active.
Strickland's been hot of late, but since coming off the DL, it was pretty rocky road. The last 6 appearances have been scoreless.
Kemp inside the bag into the corner. Machado's in easily. Hernandez will score standing. A 2-run double from Kemp and an early rout in San Francisco. The Dodgers have a 6-0 lead in the 3rd.
This is blistered. Matt Kemp has not waited long in both of his at-bats, and both at-bats he has hit scorchers. 2 more RBIs for the Dodgers. They are playing loose, relaxed, and with this score the way it's going, they're having a lot of fun.
How about this? They are 10 for their last 20 with runners in scoring position. Grandal, strike 1. That was a primary issue, losing those 2 games in Arizona to wrap up that series. It was why it was so close on Friday night. Or the changing in fortunes in those situations and why they've scored 16 runs in the last 12 innings. Grandal swings and misses. Tailing fastball makes it 0-2.
Giants scored 6 yesterday. This is to prove how comfortable this lead is. They hadn't scored 6 for 21 games prior to that.
Yeah, back to September 3rd.
So This is a huge lead on this team.
Been one of the worst offensive teams in baseball all season, and especially here in September as the roster's been whittled down because of injuries and some trades. Their runs per game average is among the 15 worst in the National League since the Giants moved west. 1950s. Grandal bounces one, hit it softly, but to the right spot. And Kemp will hang on at third. Infield single for Yasmani Grandal, kind of. Technically, an infielder that stopped it.
Well, that ground ball has eyes, but it also has some depth because of the infield playing so deep. So if they were at normal depth, it probably goes through. The shift and the depth, they catch it, but you're still safe.
Already the 8th hit, and here's Dozier. You know, out of the 4 guys in today's lineup that weren't in the opening day lineup, so Dozier, Freese, Machado, the acquisitions, and Justin Turner, who is out with the injury. Those 4 guys combined are 4 for 5 with 2 doubles and 3 RBIs in this game. They've reached in 6 of their 7 times up. Ball on a strike. So it's 6-0 here. It's 2-0 in Denver. Rockies in front on an Nolan Arenado homer. And now Tyler Anderson trying to make that lead hold up. Bud Black going with Tyler Anderson, his first start in 10 days. He was skipped his last time through because of his sore shoulder. Now the other option would have been German Marquez, who's been their best pitcher right there with Kyle Freeland this season. But he would have been on short rest. And they're kind of looking at Marquez the same way the Dodgers look at Buehler, wanting to use him when they have to. A 1-2. Protects and stays alive. We were talking a little bit earlier about tomorrow. If you get to game 163, Dodgers and Rockies both win, you look at it maybe being a bullpen game because you still have the 40-man roster, and because you still have the net of the wild card, you still haven't reached a must-win game at that point in regards to using Walker Buehler or not.
I'm leaning towards it's going to be a bullpen game.
Backed up, popped up, out of play.
And that means you'll have an opener. It could be somebody who's used to starting, like Ross Stripling or an Alex Wood. But still, you won't be expected to have them go deep into the game because they'll want to match up right away. And then when you get paired back to the 25-man roster, go with the legit starter that can take you deep into the game and dominate, and that would be Walker Buehler.
And you may say, well, what happens if that backfires and you lose the bullpen game and you have to go play the wild card game? Well, on a must win, you then have Walker Buehler. Think of it the other way. If you use Buehler tomorrow and lose, then you're in a must win game in the wild card game and you have to do a bullpen game. And you only have 25 men on the roster at that point.
And I think the only reason our tone or anyone's tone talking about a bullpen game in a negative way is because that is kind of counterculture still. But that culture's creeping in where bullpen games are your best scenario, where being able to select whatever pitcher you want to face this portion of the lineup or this batter.
Wow, that thing gets to the backstop. Kemp's going to come in easily. And on this NFL Sunday, Dodgers lead it by a touchdown.
It is rare for the Dodgers to hit Strickland around or for Strickland to have bad outings against the Dodgers. In his 29 appearances over the course of his career against the Dodgers, he has a .36 ERA. So this is not what Strickland's used to doing against this uniform, and it's not what the Dodgers are used to seeing from the mound.
And in the case of Brian Dozier, after falling behind, he's worked the count full. Did that his first time and walked. On this 3-2. Pops it up. Garcia out of room. Yeah, I mean, there are some teams that, like the Tampa Bay Rays, that's kind of the norm, is a bullpen style game.
Yeah, it's just, I think it's just creeping in, because analytically, if you can't put the dominant starter out there, you'd rather have 4 or 5 pieces from your bullpen pitch the 9 innings if that's the way it goes. I'm not sure you can do that for a whole season and just have a staff without starters, but you surely can do it for a game where all of a sudden a starter's not available, or you think your best chances of winning the game is to match up throughout the whole game.
And maybe because of the negative connotation you're talking about with it being called a bullpen game, it should be called a matchup game.
Yeah.
Because that really is what it becomes.
We got you tomorrow because we're matching up. And compared to, oh, we got to go with a bullpen game tomorrow, and all of a sudden the tone's a little different.
Dozier turns on it. High drive to left towards the corner. It is gone. It's 9-0. How good does that feel for Brian Dozier? The smile says it all.
Nervous last night, can't sleep, big game tomorrow. Wonder what today holds for us. Check out of the hotel, take the bus over, get your uniform on, get your stretching in, take some BP underneath in the cage. Come out and score 9 early.
Ball 1 on Rich Hill.
We've been looking for this from Brian Dozier. He's been looking for it for himself. Pulling the ball, but pulling it in the air, hitting it hard, and hitting it over the fence.
1-1 on Hill.
Touchdown and a safety.
Easy now, Rich. 5th one with the Dodgers, 21st overall. 7 consecutive Dodgers have reached, and they've all scored after Chris Taylor started this inning with a ground out on the first pitch. And now Hill serves a pop fly into left for Blanco.
Those 9 runs are very comfortable, but they also protect tomorrow's choice on what you want to do pitching wise. Because now you can push Rich Hill a little farther. You've got padding. You can push maybe a component that you wouldn't use tomorrow in a tough game. You might see guys in this game. Maybe it'll be a Yimi Garcia. Maybe it'll be Julio Urias. Some guys that really haven't pitched consequential innings, but we can save those guys for tomorrow.
Another update from Colorado. Charlie Blackmon with a 2-run home run. Rockies say, well, we see your 7th spot. We're going to put 2 more on there against Eric Fetty. 4-0, trending towards a 163rd game. And the Dodgers in their history have played in 5 tiebreakers. Only 1 single game tiebreaker, though. It was in 1980. A bullet down the line. Loud contact continues as Taylor deposits an extra base hit into the corner. Stop at second with a 2-out double. 1980, they swept Houston on the final day of the weekend, or the final day of the season. And on that final day, had to win, forced the tie-breaking game. They were down 3-2 in the 8th inning. Ron Say was up with a man on. Tommy Lasorda asked him to bunt. Ronce bunted the first 2 foul, and then famously with 2 strikes hit a game-winning home run. Now, they would lose the tie-breaking game the next day, but game 162 was a memorable one in that 1980 season. And game 162 shaping up to be the same here today in San Francisco. That they've entered the final day of the regular season with 2 first-place ties. The other one is in the Central. The Brewers trying to finish the regular season on a 7-game winning streak to steal the division title away from the Cubs. They lead 2-0 over the Tigers, while the Cubs trail the Cardinals 2-0 at Wrigley Field. Justin Turner, the 11th man to bat in this inning, taking ball 1 from Pierce Johnson. And how about the Cubs at this point maybe staring at a wild card game? This is the first day today that the Brewers have been in first place since July.
A team with a bullpen against a team without a bullpen. The Cubs are reeling in that department.
Because of injuries. Brandon Morrow first and foremost. And then the replacement for Morrow in the closer's role, Pedro Strop. Joe Madden let him hit for himself in Washington a couple weeks ago, and he hurt his hamstring running to first. So he's not been used since, and it's unlikely that he'll be ready to go even for the postseason, at least the division series. The 1-2. And a nice play by Joe Panik to mercifully for the Giants end the inning. How about a 7 spot for the Dodgers here in the 3rd in game 162. They lead it 9-0.
Dodgers postseason, get Dodger home screen icons and features such as live radio broadcast, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, stats, news, and more. Download MLB at Bat today.
Dodgers have 9 runs. The Giants have 0 base runners as Rich Hill has retired the first 6 that he's faced, including 3 Ks. And it's Gorkas Hernandez to start this 3rd inning. Well, the Dodger offense has taken this tense, dramatic Sunday and kind of turned it into a Sunday stroll, hasn't it?
It is a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Yeah. 2-1. Curveball's been locked in for Rich Hill. He altered the grip on the curveball a little bit before his last start. Kind of lost the feel for it, and it can come and go for him. Very much a field pitcher, as you talk about, Oral. He changed the grip to just put the ball a little bit deeper into his grip, and it's helped him a lot. It's popped up on the infield. David Freese, 1 gone. He's got better feel for it, and the end result of that, he says, is that it's breaking much closer to home plate, making it more difficult on the hitter.
Hitters go through adjustments. Pitchers go through adjustments. Some of the hitter adjustments come at the end of the season where they change the length of their bat or take it down a ½ an ounce or an ounce. Well, pitchers the same thing. You know, the wear and tear of a season. Maybe you get a little fatigued. Maybe you got a little out of rhythm. Changing the grip. Taking your hands over your head now and your wind up to get a little better rhythm. They're all searching for it.
Strike 1 on Gregor Blanco. One on 1. Remember, before Rich's near no-hitter in Pittsburgh last year, it was an adjustment that he made based on a suggestion from his wife Caitlin that helped him really lock in and produce the start of his life. Everybody always tinkering, trying to find new things, but Rich in particular loves to search for that next little edge, that next little thing to capture a good feel. Drops down and induces a weak pop-up. Turner takes charge. 2 out.
JT with I got it, I got it, I got it. And Rich Hill with JT, JT, JT. And Yasmani bails to get it done.
Cubby Tomlinson to hit out of the pitcher's spot. One and out. So the Giants are on their way to a 5-21 September. That'd be their fewest wins in a full calendar month since moving to San Francisco. New GM taking over following the season. They've not announced who that'll be yet. Haven't decided who that'll be. They'll have a big decision whether to try and build around what they currently have or trade away a guy like Madison Bumgarner and start a rebuild. Bumgarner has 1 year left on his contract.
That could be one of the main questions in the interview for the new GM.
Might be the whole interview. 3 pop-ups. 1, 2, 3 inning. Pretty much perfect day so far in San Francisco. Dodgers baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by BMW. See a Southern California BMW Center today for exceptional offers, or visit SoCalBMW.com. And by Jack in the Box. Try something different like Jack's Teriyaki Bowls, only at Jack in the Box for a limited time. Shot from the 2014 division title celebration. Dodgers trying to win a 6th consecutive division championship. Although by the looks of it, they may have to wait until tomorrow to try and officially capture that as Chris Stratton comes on to pitch. Starter that has no tomorrow and so will be used out of the bullpen here. It's ball 1 on David Freese. Rockies up 4-0 in Denver over the Nationals, and Eric Fetty started instead of Max Scherzer. 2-0. Freese 2 for 2 today. RBI single in the first, doubled and scored in the third, and ahead here 3 balls, no strikes. Now the other thing in play is the chance that the Dodgers get home field advantage for a division series against Atlanta. As Freese takes the leadoff walk. And you get so caught up in the race at the top of the division, it's like, okay, wait a minute. Tied with Atlanta too, and if game 163 happens based on wins for the Dodgers and the Rockies, then the winner of that game 163 would in fact have home field over Atlanta.
Both teams won the season series against the Braves.
Yep.
So all you have to do is tie them, but you wouldn't tie them with 163, right? You'd be ahead of them
by winning percentage. Ball 1 on Machado.
It'll all be settled in a few days. But there's a lot on the plate right now.
By the 4 scores as they are currently, with the 4 teams in first place ties, there'd be one game 163. That'd be tomorrow at Dodger Stadium. The Brewers would win the Central, and the Cubs would host the wild card game on Tuesday. 3-0. Ball 7 from Stratton.
So the Dodgers could still play 3 games in 3 days in 3 different cities.
Yes.
San Francisco, LA, Chicago possibly.
And 4 cities in 5 days. If you include game 1 in Milwaukee.
Yep.
Strike 1. We'll try to avoid that though by winning this game and winning tomorrow if the Rockies in fact hang on. That 4-0 lead over Washington.
It's TBD all over the schedule. We don't know who's pitching. We don't know who they're playing.
Such is life, huh?
TBD.
3-2. Manny Machado played in a wild card game 2 years ago, but the only postseason series that he's played in is as a rookie, 20-year-old in 2012. That stroked up the middle base hit. Second of the game for Manny.
Right about now, every hitter is saying to the guy next to him, stay hot. Because they look like the whole lineup is hot. This is not counting on one guy. This is a force to be reckoned with.
Two on, nobody out. Kike Hernandez comes up. One ball, no strikes. Hernandez 1 for 2 with the RBI single. And you know, since the beginning of August, Kike Hernandez 3rd in the National League in batting average. Top 10 in on base percentage, top 10 in on base plus slugging. 1-1.
Dodgers have some player of the month candidates for September. He's going to get some votes.
If only Christian Yelich wasn't a thing.
That's true. Isn't there win, place, and show, or that's another sport?
Yeah.
It's not a horse race.
Breaking ball lands 1-2. Christian Yelich has a shot at a triple crown. Tied for the lead in home runs. Leading the batting race. And 2 RBIs short of the lead there. Maybe the first National League Triple Crown winner since 1937. Joe Medwick of the Cardinals won it that year. How many hits did he have off you that year?
Medwick?
Yeah.
What year was that?
37.
37.
Were you up yet?
No, I was not up.
Next
in the
year
big
you came
leagues
up.
yet. Yeah. My parents weren't even married yet.
On a 2-2 pitch, Hernandez hits a ground ball, base hit to left. Here comes David Freese. Here's the throw, cut off. 10-0 as Hernandez drives in another. They're just padding the stats at this point.
It's almost to the point now where Chris Woodward at third base is going to hold guys up and not try and get anybody hurt. David Freese rounded the bag. Kike drove him in. Station to station is going to be good enough here pretty soon.
Yeah, there's so many examples throughout these teams' long history of the Giants spoiling the Dodgers' hopes, ruining things in the final days. It could not be any more on the other end of the spectrum from that. Instead of ruining, they've put up a borderline embarrassing performance these last, at least today.
Yeah, in the history of these two franchises, this series will be remembered as how the Dodgers got in, and it was sweeter by doing it in San Francisco against the Giants.
Kemp 2 for 2. On the corner for a strike. 20 runs in the last 13 innings. The Dodgers are showing why in these couple days here, why so many neutral observers across the country, whether those are writers or scouts or broadcasters, look at the Dodgers as probably the scariest team if they're able to get in. Fly to right, Pence is over, plays it off the wall. Kemp's got a 3-hit day. Machado in standing. Holy cow.
You don't want to call off the jam. You just don't go up there and just try and make outs now. You try and stay hot and locked in. And use this as practice for tomorrow, if there is a game tomorrow. And it sure is turning into a very relaxing practice.
Yeah. Breaking ball for a strike on Grandal. It's like early work. Even more relaxing than BP.
I mean, for the teams that clinch early and have to wait around for their playoff games to start, they have what is known as simulated games. So you should maybe bring in some pitchers or guys that are on the big league roster but not going to make that playoff roster throw to the current players so they can see big league fastballs and big league breaking balls and they can feel a little bit of competition. Second half of this game here for the Dodgers is turning into kind of a sim game just to keep everybody sharp.
Randall chases a high fastball for the first out. And a very sarcastic cheer from this San Francisco crowd. Dodgers have 11 runs on 13 hits. 2 walks, a hit batsman. That's 16 base runners in 3 1/3. And now Dozier. Brian has the lone home run as part of this onslaught. We see it on StatCast AI, powered by AWS.
Brian has hit a lot of balls hard, but this one in the air. Pull side again. But boy, that's what they've been looking for since they traded for him. The 2 departments where he was supposed to be excellent, it was power hitting and defense. He has definitely done it with the glove. And if the power bat wakes up going into October, that will be a huge benefit.
There are some things written, pretty good cases made, that it may be hard for him to make the postseason roster when you really start to break it down to the nitty-gritty, spot by spot.
It might come down to how many people you have in the bullpen, and do you have another player on the bench or in the starting lineup that would be part of that rotation of who's starting and who's sitting that day, who plays the first half of the game, who plays the second half of the game.
Flip to right. Pence. Hernandez tagging at third. He'll come in to score. Another RBI for Dozier. Another run for the Dodgers. It's 12-0. Dozier perhaps making one last case today to ensure a spot on that 25-man roster. Very productive day. Walk, 2-run home run, and now a sacrifice fly. And even with a well-stated case to make it hard for him to be on the 25-man roster, it's still hard to imagine him not being part of that group.
And I think that's the emotional side of it, not the production side of the equation, because he has been somebody that really everybody on the team has gravitated towards. They love the way he goes about his work on a daily basis, the grit, watching his professionalism through the slump and not taking the slump onto the field. The defense has been exceptional.
Hill bounces out, ends the inning. They get 3 more and lead it 12-0 to the bottom of the 4th. Baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by Infinity. Empower the drive. And by Carl's Jr., now serving Conda meats with pastrami piled high atop the pastrami thick burger. Try one today. Back here in San Francisco, looking at a celebration of the 2015 championship clinch. The Cubs, after trailing 2-0, have scored 3 straight and lead the Cardinals 3-2. And so now, by the scores as they currently are, you're looking at a pair of Game 163s tomorrow. Love it.
You're a baseball fan these days. Well, it's been great for Dodger fans. Every game has been do or die almost, with the Rockies posting their scores on the scoreboards. But now, as a baseball fan, it's really coming to a pinnacle of unbelievable games, starting with a crescendo into the playoffs.
Hunter Pence, strike 1. And because the Dodger offense has stolen the show, 12 runs on 13 hits, it's like, oh yeah, Rich Hill's been pretty darn good too.
Now, this game could be historic with the score and the performance on the mound.
Fly to center field. Kike Hernandez. Look out, Matt Kemp.
And the 2 outfielders out there communicated just enough. Matt's route was kind of like, I don't hear you yet. Maybe I better get in there. And then Kike, finally, you see it. I got it. And he casually got it. There will be an edge on defense as long as there's a 0 in one of the columns on the scoreboard.
Joe Panik looks at a strike. This is Game 162. Game 1 and Game 2. This man won with solo home runs. 1-0 each of those first 2. He hit another home run in their 5th game. He's hit 1 since. There's the first base runner of the game for San Francisco. Panik singles to center.
Rich's curveball has been outstanding today. It usually gets hit on the ground. So can use that right here. Maybe get a double play ball.
His first one to Evan Longoria is in there for a strike. Rich Hill in the ballpark where he made his first career start in place of an injured Kerry Wood with the Chicago Cubs, 2005. Back-to-back hits. Longoria with a single to left.
I want to get back on track right away here, because the benefit of having this huge lead is being able to select whatever arms you want to finish this game and save the potential arms that you want for tomorrow. Keep those guys fresh. No time to relax here on defense, up 12-0.
And if that game 163 becomes a reality, like it's looking like it has a good chance to, that, by the way, is exclusively ESPN tomorrow at 1 o'clock Pacific.
We'll have pre and post game on our network, so you can get all the latest on Dodgers and up close, especially with Alana, the way she grinds it out with the guys and gets all the feelings and what they're thinking about that day.
Hill to Hundley with an 0-1. Curve, smack to first. Freeze pivots and goes to second to get Longoria. 2 out. Cubs added another 4-2. Get 4 runs in the third. 4-2 comes over the Cardinals. Actually still going in that third inning. They chased Jack Flaherty from the game. Mike Montgomery, starting pitcher for the Cubs today. Guy that didn't even move into the rotation until Yu Darvish went down with the injury in late May. Brandon Crawford swings and misses at a curve, strike one. Drops down and misses up. Mitch Wilson's putting the Dodger uniform on, 4-1, a sub-1 ERA against these Giants. Ahead of Crawford 1-2, and boy, he's had that curveball working, hasn't he?
That last one right there was really sharp. One of the more impressive things about Rich Hill compared to other guys in the big leagues that throw outstanding curveballs is his ability to kind of get that extra break. It's one thing to have a good curveball, it's another thing to get that one that really finishes.
That's what he was saying when he kind of lost the feel earlier this month. What was happening, a lot of the break was coming right out of his hand, popping out of his hand, wasn't getting a good finish to the pitch. Altered the grip and he's gotten it back to where he likes it. On a 2-2, goes with a fastball to get Crawford and keep the shutout intact through 4, 12-0. California Toyota dealers. Toyota's 2018 clearance countdown is on. Get the biggest savings on an adventurous new RAV4. Shot from the 2016 division celebration. Maeda and Puig as Maeda's rookie season. 12-0 in this one. Dodgers trying to finish the regular season on a 3-game winning streak, even though tomorrow technically would be part of the regular season. Finish the scheduled portion of it. And also on a 13-4 run. Only Milwaukee's been better in September. Top of the order, Chris Taylor is 2 for 3 today. Wow. Man, his hair is something today. 1-0. They were kidding Manny around the cage earlier this week that it's like a do a day. It seems like an ever-evolving hairstyle. He said it's not quite that often. But if you get to the playoffs, he said, maybe then, maybe a do-a-day then.
Wow.
Changing that hairstyle.
Bet you if he gets 3 hits in a playoff game, he ain't changing his hairstyle.
Yeah, that's right. 2-1 on Taylor. One of the many guys trending in the right direction with October next. He's ahead 3-1 after a nightmarish August. Hitting above 350 here in September. He's got a walk to open the 5th. Max Muncy replaces Justin Turner as a pinch hitter here. Opportunity not just for Dave Roberts to manage the bullpen and the pitching a little bit differently because of the blowout, but a chance to get a guy like Justin Turner some extra rest going into tomorrow. Muncy on the first pitch. It's a towering fly ball down the line. If it's fair, it's gone. It is gone, and a splash hit from Mad Max. Steve, you got to be faster, buddy. And the Dodgers lead it 14-0.
That ball's about to get wet. I'll tell you what. If you're a Giant fan and you're in a kayak out there and you get a Dodger home run ball, do you throw it back?
If you got a really strong arm.
You got to get back in the kayak, dry off a little bit, loosen up, and then give it a good heave.
Number 34. Dave got Steve. Now fly ball off of the bat of Freeze. Center field for Hernandez. You get a run, and you get a run, and you get a run. And David Dahl gets another home run. 6th in his last 7 games. 7-0 Colorado. What are you doing tomorrow at 1 o'clock?
To help travel, they might want to just come up with the 10-run mercy rule.
Right.
See if the Rockies can cross that line, call that game off.
Bellinger pinch hitting, strike 1. Good looking change up, 0-2. Bellinger hooks a fly ball to right. Pence moves back. A leaping grab for Hunter. 2 away in the 5th. And a vintage Hunter Pence there. Not always the smoothest, but fun to watch and effective, and the fans in his final game here appreciate it.
Emotional leader of this team for a long time. His fan base gravitated to the way that he plays the game, and the tip of the hat the way he has played the game here in a Giant uniform and his whole career.
One and 0 on Hernandez. Ball 2. TK has 2 RBI singles today. Time for our Coors Light refreshing finish. Look at those couple of hits for Hernandez in the series. 8 for 11.
one of the hot bats on the Dodgers. No longer a surprise that he is hot.
Puig, the next guy, ready to come in off of the bench. Stratton home with the 2-2. Hernandez takes it. The count goes full. Flying to right center field towards Triple's alley. Pence won't get to this one. And Hernandez has himself a triple. White hot Kike Hernandez.
Just a little breeze blowing out to right field. A day game, a little warmer. The ball's carrying, but Kike, even with his more compact, less aggressive swing, showing off the power.
And here's Puig to pinch hit. For Matt Kemp, whose day ends 3 for 3, 2 doubles, 3 RBIs, a run scored. Take your pick today. Everybody having a good day. Two and 0. Two and 1. Chopper left side. Crawford lunges to the hole to get it. Long throw to get him. Heck of a play by the Gold Glover. Dodgers get a couple more on Muncy's long home run. Halfway home in a 14-0 game.
Great promotional nights and exciting matchups, including the Cubs and the Yankees. Receive 2018 postseason rights with the purchase of your 2019 season tickets. Visit Dodgers.com/season tickets.
And with the Rockies putting together a similar picture in Denver right now with a 7-0 lead over the Nationals, team should be pretty even coming in. As far as the usage of the pitchers go, the stress of the previous day. Ramos Garcia takes ball one from Rich Hill. And then pops it up. All kinds of defensive changes. Brian Dozier, one of the only guys still at his original position. In fact, he is one of two still at his original position along with Grandal. Just so you've got them left to right in the outfield now. Hernandez, Bellinger, and Puig. Freeze at third, Taylor at short, and Muncy at first.
There have been a couple times since David Freese has been over here that Dave Roberts has given him some reps over there at third base to keep him flexible and in tune with that portion of the game.
Strike one on Hernandez. A lot of pop-ups today. Muncy.
With Rich Hill, we said the breaking ball gets the ground balls. The up fastball off of that breaking ball gets a lot of balls hit in the air. And you're right, they are getting under them and hitting pop-ups more than their routine fly balls.
That's the 6th infield pop-up out of the first 14 outs of the game. And Gregor Blanco hits with 2 gone. Breaking ball spins to the inside corner for a strike. Now, if the Dodgers are able to get in to the division series, they're going to feel great about their starting pitching. Rich Hill entered today, at least looked at as the 4th guy. Shot to short with a backhand Taylor. 1, 2, 3, 5th. And as Muncy keeps that foot in the bag, the Dodgers 14, the Giants nothing. Rich Hill does this inning on 6 pitches. Full weekend for these Dodgers. Glad that you're spending it with us. 14-0 in this game. Well on their way to forcing a game 163 division deciding game against Colorado tomorrow.
Anything that you were worried about at home, these Dodgers have taken care of that, and now you get to start worrying about tomorrow. It's going to be a lot of fun, but they're going to be a rested bunch and a confident bunch going into game 163.
Both teams are going to be, right? I mean, as Derek Collin comes on to pitch here with the Rockies handling the Nationals. Yasmani Grandal looks at a strike. Not just handling the Nationals to be fresh, but winning their 8th out of their last 9.
But the Dodgers, last time they saw the Rockies, took care of business.
Yeah.
So the Rockies are going to have to be turning a tide against at least the team that they're going to be trying to beat.
It's not been officially announced yet, but it is expected that German Marquez will start that game. Grandal fouls it off. 0-2. Marquez, in 5 of his last 6 starts, has struck out double-digit hitters. That included a National League record 8 in a row to start the game against Philadelphia last week. Last 9 starts, Marquez 5-1 with a 187. 82 strikeouts in 62 innings.
Both teams feel like they're coming in with pitching staffs that can get it done. Both teams coming in with offenses tomorrow that really can explode, that can take what could seem like a tight and close game and all of a sudden post a big number.
Full count. As far as the Dodgers against Marquez, last saw him in June. Held him to a run on 2 hits over 8 innings. Also started in early June against the Dodgers. Had better success that time. 4 runs over 6. Grandal strikes out to open the 6th. And in his one other start at Dodger Stadium on May 21st, Grandal's argument that he fouled this. 7 innings, 1 run. So 2 really dominant outings against the Dodgers, and then 1 where he was more hittable. But just 23 years old. It'll be the biggest start of his life if they do in fact go with him. Here's Dozier. A strike. And then you turn it around back to the discussion about what do the Dodgers do as far as the starting pitching goes. Options are Walker Buehler or a matchup game.
And I think we're going to end up with a matchup game. I mean, you could have Ryu for a few innings on short rest. Alex Wood will not pitch today, so he went back-to-back days. That looked very strong. He could be an opener for you.
You think Ryu?
You never know. If you need him, but you might save him for the next day to be behind Buehler if you do go with the matchup day. I mean, it's all hands on deck.
And you got all the hands because you got 40 players on the roster still. That changes for the wild card game, limited to 25.
And then after the wild card game, if you win that, you can change again.
But 25 again.
Yep.
Going into the division series. Finally, some clarity, barring something unforeseen here in Denver. There will be a game 163 at Dodger Stadium tomorrow. Beyond that, though, who knows? If the Dodgers win that game, they would host game 1 of the division series against Atlanta on Thursday. If they lose that game, they'd play in the wild card game on Wednesday, or on Tuesday, beg your pardon, against either the Cubs or the Brewers, who look like they're probably headed for a game 163 themselves. And I know on the surface you'd look at it and say, man, you don't want to have to play the Cubs in a 1-game playoff. But when you look a little bit deeper, the Brewers are probably the scarier of the 2 teams in that format because of their bullpen. They get an early lead on you, they're going to be sending some of the toughest back-end bullpen arms in baseball trying to shut you down. Dozier down the line as he hit his second today, just foul. Just foul.
Hooking, hit the foul pole. Wide by about 6-8 feet.
He hoped it would hit the foul pole. Instead it hit that guy's right leg. Caught it with his thigh. Dozier's worked some very deep at bats today. 8th pitch coming here, and he's worked it full. A walk for Dozier. 2 walks, home run, a sacrifice fly, his best game in more than a month. 1 on 1 out. And Rich Hill coming up.
What would you rather have? A guy that is hot and coming out of a slump, or a guy who's had a great year, just an unbelievable year, but he is mired in a slump, but his overall stats are really good? Brian Dozier might be coming out just at the right time.
Got a few guys trending like that, right? I mean, you have Chris Taylor swinging it as well as he has all year. Kike Hernandez as well as he has his entire career.
Yasiel Puig. Jock Peterson.
Yes, Manny Grandal.
And then the consistent ones, Manny Machado is now looking like he is a consistent force. He's come out of his slump. Justin Turner, of course. It's a deep lineup to go through.
Hill down looking.
I think that is just fine. Get back over there and just rest. There's only one thing you need him to do right now, and that is just to get as many outs as possible.
Fifth time up there for Chris Taylor. Opened the game with a single. Turner followed that with a double to bring him in. Freese followed that with a single to bring him in. The Dodgers were off and running with a 2-0 lead before the Giants even recorded it out. And the beat has gone on through 6 innings in this game. Out hitting the Giants 15-2 today. Two.
I'm not disappointed the Dodgers are up 14-0, but anticipation for this game is come up completely different than the reality of this game.
Yeah, it has a different mood to it than you figured it would in the 6th inning.
I thought we were going to be hanging on every pitch and staring at the scoreboard wondering what's going on over there. This thing is getting very close to being determined at a very early stage. 7-0 with the Rockies up on Washington, and the score here at 14-0.
The other battle, it's 3-0 Brewers on the bottom of the 6th in Milwaukee. The Cubs lead the Cardinals 4-2 in the 5th inning in Chicago. Oh, ball one.
Hundley's got some ups.
Yeah.
Got a smile out of Holland.
Taylor cracks one to right center field, but Pence is there to cut it off and finish the Dodgers in the 6th. One of the second 0 put up today by San Francisco pitching.
player and make plans to attend Dodgers fantasy camp at the spring training facilities at Camelback Ranch in Glendale, Arizona. That'll be January 13th through 19th, of course, 2019. For more information, visit dodgers.com/fantasycamp.
Rich Hill has given up just 2 hits today. Just 2 base runners over 5 innings. A little bit of run support, too. 14-0. Bottom of the 6th coming up. Joe Davis or Hershiser, Alana Rizzo. Final game of the 162, but 163 looming tomorrow. Abiatal Avellino swings at the first pitch, flies it to center, where Cody Bellinger makes the catch. That ball kind of took off on him, but he brings it in, 1 away. Up comes Pence. And they've shown how much they love him with their ovations for him each time he's come up this weekend. On the last Friday night of the 2013 season, which was early on in his time here, stayed late at the ballpark with his agent and with Bruce Bochy and the front office, finalizing a contract extension, $90 million contract extension. They signed the deal, and then Bruce Bochy opens up a bottle of wine and wants to celebrate it. The CEO, Larry Baer, fantastic at what he does. Got ready to call a chauffeur to get Pence home in style. You know, he just signed a big contract, right? You're going to make him Uber. It's 1-1. Hunter says, I'm good. Doesn't need a glass of wine. Walks out of the office right after signing his name on the dotted line for $90 million. Buckles up a helmet, hops on a motorized scooter, and buzzes home through San Francisco.
Pretty down-to-earth guy.
1-2.
I wonder if they got the scooter in the contract that he was allowed to ride it.
That's an interesting thing, because I'm sure that's included in the stuff you can't do.
There's a paragraph on all the things that you can't do.
Ask Madison Bumgarner. Flexes that one foul, stays alive at 1-2. He also had to stop doing his competitive tumbling thing. He was a competitive tumbling state champion growing up in Texas. He's down on strikes here, 2 out in the 6th. It's basically gymnastics, I guess.
That paragraph has everything from skydiving and hang gliding all the way back down to something maybe as nebulous as a pickup basketball game. So I don't know how many items are mentioned, but there's a good 30, I'll bet. Motorcycle riding is definitely one of them.
Panik bounces one past Hill behind the bag. Hernandez throws out Joe Panik through a 6. A gem from Rich Hill and a bunch of support from the offense. time that he was up there. Our Arco top tier play of the game, a splash hit home run on the first pitch that he saw today. It's the 5th Dodgers splash hit home run out of the McCovey Cove. In fact, the first visiting player to do it was a Dodger, 2000, Todd Hundley. That is strike one from Derek Holland. 78 Giants splash hits. 35 of those 78 were Barry Bonds. One on one.
Most guys don't get to first base before the ball splashes. Barry Bonds would not even leave the box before the ball splashed.
On current Dodgers, Chase Utley has done it, Jock Peterson, and most recently Cody Bellinger. Ball 3 on Max. Soft grounder. One gone. Let's go down to Alana.
Well, it looks like there is going to be a 163 tomorrow at Dodger Stadium, and it'll be an opportunity for the Dodgers to win their 6th straight division title. The Rockies going for their first in franchise history. The game is at 1 o'clock. You can get tickets on Dodgers.com/tiebreaker. If you can't make it to Dodger Stadium, it's going to be a fun atmosphere, but if you can't get there, the game is at 1 o'clock on ESPN, guys.
All right, pregame coverage at noon on Sportsnet LA. David Freese taking strike one. Let's see what the Dodgers decide pitching plan wise. Same thing for the Rockies. Freese 3 for 4 today, or 2 for 3 today. It's Walker Buehler hanging back there. He'll either pitch tomorrow or Tuesday, or probably game 2 of the division series if they happen to go with a bullpen day tomorrow and 1. Ground ball to third. Longoria gets it. And up comes Bellinger. Strike one.
If you do have a matchup game tomorrow and you're thinking about who's going to get Charlie Blackmon out, he hits for about the same average off of lefties and righties, and he hits for power about the same off of left-handers and right-handers. So it's really not the first matchup, but if you like a left-hander for the beginning of that lineup, then you can go to lefty. If you like a right-hander, there's plenty of guys to select from that are right-handed.
A ball and 2 strikes on Bellinger. A 14-0 game here in the 7th. State could not have gone any better, at least in a vacuum here. It could have gone better getting the Nationals to beat the Rockies, but as far as what's going on here, as good as you could hope for. Bellinger taps it left side and can't quite beat the throw from Longoria. We stretch. 14-zip. Dodgers baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Shop ChooseNissan.com. And by Goosebumps 2, Haunted Halloween, only in theaters October 12th. Back here in San Francisco, the Dodgers hoping to celebrate tomorrow. Game 163 against Colorado. 1 o'clock at Dodger Stadium. Can't get there, you can watch it on ESPN. Rich Hill back to the mound, 61 pitches through 6 innings. Delivering to Evan Longoria, a curveball for a strike. And it's going to get overshadowed because of the offensive outburst, but how about the day Rich Hill has had?
He is doing just great, and I'm just sitting here thinking, you know, who's going to be player of the game? And the way he's pitching, he could have done this with 1 run. 14's nice, though.
Yeah, he'll take it, and has. I mean, he came into the start in September with an ERA above 5, but a 4-0 record because of the run support.
Yeah, 7+ runs in his last 5 starts. He's on a roll, but he's really on a roll because of the offense, and they've given him time to adjust the grips on his curveball. They've given him time to find a new delivery, which he's using, and all of that said, he has a lot of confidence, even though he is not really one of the probably the first 3 starters that they would choose from as they get into the playoffs.
Hundley with the bases empty and 1 out. It's at foul. Cubs have opened up an 8-2 lead. The Brewers lead 4-0. We're going to have 2 Game 163s tomorrow, other than 2.
When you look across the landscape of baseball, it couldn't be better.
Oh.
It was great for the sport, great for all the fan bases, great for the new people that are starting to enjoy baseball.
2 gone. As Hill sits down Huntley. And you always hope that folks can flock to Dodger Stadium, flock to Dodgers.com/tiebreaker with a short notice. The game 163 tomorrow.
I think those tickets are going to go pretty fast.
Yeah. A strike on a pinch hitting Chase Darno.
I think there's going to be a large percentage of people in LA that take a personal day tomorrow from their job. Or a dentist appointment just creeped up.
Yeah, his tooth got really sore Sunday at about 2 o'clock.
Lost a crown.
0-2.
Everybody from Pantone 294 had to get back to LA quick. Hope they have good internet on the airplane so they can get their tickets.
One and 2.
A lot of us were looking at commercial flights back to LA in case the team didn't go back to LA after this game. We know there's a lot of people from LA going to be heading over to the airport and getting back home. They've had great support this weekend here in San Francisco. At times have drowned out the Giant fans.
Hill home with a 2-2 pitch. Full count. Giants have 2 hits today. Those are back-to-back singles in the 4th. Hill has retired 10 in a row since then, and that was after he retired 10 in a row to start the game. And doing it as efficiently as we've seen anybody do it in 162 games this year for the Dodgers. Dave Roberts wants to. In the way it's trending, he's got a chance here to ride Rich Hill to the first complete game of the year.
Fastball location has been crisp. Very good at matching up the window for the hitter as far as where the breaking ball comes out of, with that fastball away to righties. Not really giving the Giants any hope. You know, these guys, they are playing out the string now, especially where the scoreboard is, but Rich is pitching like it's a 1-0 game.
His 7th strikeout of the game finishes off 7 shutout innings. What a performance from Rich Hill on short notice.
Touchdowns in San Francisco. The Rockies have put up 1 touchdown in Denver. And Ned, we are headed to a game 163 to settle the NL West.
Little extra time to decide the race. You got 2 bullpens, should be rested too. Ought to be exciting.
These 2 guys will break it down after the game, and Alana has a reaction and a look ahead to tomorrow coming up.
All right, guys. Kike Hernandez leads off this inning against Steven Okert and takes ball 1. There's your information. Dodgers.com/tiebreaker. Oh, there's one of the great environments in the sport. I know Dodger fans that do their best to make it that tomorrow. The Rockies coming in with a memory of getting swept there fresh. The last time the Rockies have faced any adversity. Fly to right for Hunter Pence.
I've quit keeping score.
You have?
I want to come clean. It's an announcement. 14-0. Game 162.
Finish. Finish, man.
Well, Rich Hill's not going to finish. I'm not going to finish.
All right, fair enough.
I only would have kept score if it was going to be a complete game.
JT Chargois warming.
That's why I dropped my pen.
Gotcha. Not because you dislike JT, but because that shows that Rich Hill's coming out, just to be clear.
Yeah, for sure.
Ball on a strikeout complete. What a game for him.
I tell you what, just like us, I mean, everybody's anxious, everybody's excited, and all of a sudden, the support he gets early, all of a sudden at first, as the starting pitcher, it's like, okay, I got a huge responsibility. They've scored runs. Now it's on me. I'm the only one that can be the GOAT. But you know what? He was up to the task.
Puig sends one in Pence's direction. That's how Okert's got the first 2 outs of the 8th. And he mentioned during the 7th that if Dave Roberts wants, he could ride him the whole way, but you could look at it a couple ways. You can say you're going to ride Rich Hill and completely save the bullpen for tomorrow. Or you can save Rich Hill a little bit for what's to come for him, they hope, in the division series, and still save the bullpen for tomorrow because JT Chargois is probably not pitching in game 163. And there are enough arms down there that probably aren't. Here's Chase Utley, who is likely making his final at-bat in the major leagues. Strike one. Of course, there's a chance they could use him off of the bench tomorrow, but a spot on the postseason roster looks like it could be hard to come by for him. One of the great careers in recent memory. And a pretty decent Hall of Fame case can be made for this guy. Takes off of the plate, 1-2. Down on strikes to the bottom of the 8th. We hope that Utley gets another chance tomorrow. There will be a tomorrow, though. 14-0 here in San Francisco. Dodgers and Rockies headed for 163 tomorrow, 1 o'clock at Dodger Stadium and on ESPN. A rout of the Giants here on the final day and a sweep over the Giants in the final weekend. JT Chargois on for the first time since August 20th, protecting the key pieces for tomorrow's game. Ramos Garcia looks at a strike, 1-1.
An hour before tomorrow's game on our network, the pregame show. We'll be up early, getting ready. 12 o'clock. We'll have a post-game show after the game, and hopefully it's a celebration.
Dodgers have played in 5 tiebreakers. That includes the first in Major League history. 1946, they went into the final day of the season tied with the Cardinals. Just like today, going into the final day tied with the Rockies, or in this case, both teams win to force game 163. In 1946, the Dodgers and the Cardinals both lost, forcing what was then a 3-game playoff. Cardinals won the first 2 and went out of the World Series. Chagua with his strikeout to open the 8th. 1951, 1959. Dodgers entered the final day tied. Both teams won. Giants in 1951. Braves in 1959. Wanted to face off in 3-game tiebreakers as well. Dodgers, the shot heard around the world. 1951 loss. 1959 they won the tie-breaking game. Tie-breaking series. That is the only, though, tiebreaker that the Dodgers have ever won. Gorkas Hernandez takes the ball. I mentioned earlier the only single-game tiebreaker they've ever played in was in 1980, sweeping Houston on the final weekend of the season at Dodger Stadium to force game 163 on Monday, but they lost that game 7-1. They're trying to make some history tomorrow.
They're making a memory today. They're trying to make history tomorrow.
Difference in tomorrow's tiebreaker versus those previous 5 that have been played is the wild card. You have that fallback where they didn't have that in previous instances. 1 and 2. And you're basically going to have like a College World Series format over the next 2 days. You're going to have Dodgers Rockies and you're going to have Cubs Brewers. The winners are going to move on to the division series. The losers are going to play in a losers bracket wild card game where the winner will move back into the winners bracket in the division series. How cool.
It's awesome. You know, even if you're old school, you've got to say that this format is super exciting compared to it all being decided at 162.
Kyle Farmer's in the game at 3rd. 2 out.
Pretty much considered an infielder now, Kyle Farmer. He can catch, but he has really reshaped his body and his career to look like he's going to be a 3rd baseman in the future, either here with the Dodgers or possibly somewhere else. The roster is so deep.
I know he's a guy that you seem to like his future potential as a major leaguer.
I think he's a long-term major leaguer. The makeup.
Gregor Blanco, strike 1.
Great pulse we've seen in pressure situations off the bench with very little experience. I think the first team or the Dodgers that gives him a shot, if there's room to give him enough at bats, I think he's got a chance to have a very nice course and a nice career.
Getting married this offseason.
I see him like a Kike Hernandez, not quite as the tools of Kike, but I also see him like a Justin Turner. You know, just somebody that's just waiting to get a shot.
Chagua with a 1-2-3-8. Well done by JT in his first appearance since August 20th. Through with 8. On a day where the offense gets 14 runs as a pitcher, you had to be exceptional, and Rich Hill was.
Well, he was magnificent out there on the mound. 14 runs or 1 run. It looks like he could have set him up for a W, and he sure did. On to game 163. A great effort by Rich Hill in a very pressure-packed game at the beginning.
Yeah, it didn't take long for it to kind of take a deep breath and lean back in its chair, did it? There's Austin Barnes. Came on defensively last inning, and it's a fly ball to left field. Back to the track, at the wall, and gone. Austin Barnes ambushing the first Oakert offering of the 9th and serving a home run into the bleachers.
A very pretty swing. 82-mile-an-hour breaking ball that he is on. It was a no-doubter.
Barnes has started to swing it better in recent weeks. 4th home run this year, his 3rd in the last couple weeks. Not in as good of a spot as he was going into the postseason last year, where he'd pretty much taken over the job from Yasmani Grandal. But he's got to be encouraged that if he does get an opportunity come October, that he's swinging the bat as well as he has this year. Farmer fouls it off, 2-1. 2-2. Yeah, because it has been kind of a white knuckle ride for the last 2 weeks into this weekend until the middle part of the game today. We haven't been able to really get sappy on each other. I'm gonna miss you, man.
I miss you, and I miss the whole crew. It's a family during the season, isn't it? It's just we spend just as much time or more time with all of us up here, camera guys that we eat with every day. And how about the booth boss, Boyd Robertson, back home? Don't get to be with him anymore. Rick Krajewski, he flew in here special to be with us here on our last day, our statistician. Alana is like family, like a sister, like amazing to be with her all the time, and how hard she works.
2-2 to Farmer. He's fouled off. I know we're biased, but we say it all the time. We have the best production crew in baseball.
Yep.
And Alana the best at what she does in baseball.
It's a fun team to work for.
Farmer chops it foul and stays alive at 2-2.
Next game we'll do together is spring training of 2019.
White Sox, Saturday in late February.
You already got the date and everything.
Farmer down on strikes, 1 gone in the 9th, as you've mentioned. While we won't have the game broadcasts, we'll have pre and post coverage throughout the postseason on Sportsnet LA. Starting with tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll be in studio with Ned and Jerry and Nomar and John Hartung. Alana will be out here with the guys wherever the Dodgers go. She will be there getting all the coverage, keeping everybody up to date with what's going on with the team.
Strike 1 on Verdugo.
Hey, hot dog!
You want one?
A hot dog, yeah.
Yeah.
No bun.
You weren't cutting carbs last night.
I know.
Ground ball. First base, Garcia. 2 out. 15-0. Dodgers in front. 15 runs on 16 hits. The Giants are going to finish off this poor season 73-89. And took it even a step lower here in September and this weekend. It's going to be a 5-21 final month. It's going to be a sweep at the hands of their rivals over the final weekend. As Rocky Gale comes up. And a thrashing on the final day. Julio Urias warming for the bottom of the ninth. That's not a fun feeling to take into your offseason with you.
No, this is a sting that the Giants will have to use to motivate them. But they don't even know who's running the club yet as far as the general manager.
One ball, two strikes. Dug it out foul. And we're thanking everybody on the crew, and as we should, but biggest thanks has to go to the fans who make it all worth doing. All of you sitting at home watching.
The fan base sets records every year. The way they support the Dodgers and come out and watch us on TV, listen on the radio. It's a journey, and they make the journey worth it. It's a lot of fun to bring baseball to them and to play baseball back when I was old enough, I was young enough to do it.
Gale down on strikes. That's that in the ninth. Let's go to the bottom half. 3 outs away from 163.
Clock to see who is the National League West champion. Dodgers will be going for their 6th straight division title at 1 o'clock, and you need to visit Dodgers.com/tiebreaker for details. And if you can't make it to the game at 1 o'clock, the game will be on ESPN, and pregame coverage on Sportsnet LA starts at noon.
Julio Urias to pitch the 9th inning for the Dodgers. Not quite enough of a runway for him to show that he could be a part of the postseason roster. Although in the couple games that he's pitched, he's looked really good.
I love the arm action, free and easy. He doesn't look like he's dealing with any demons as far as am I really healthy? And the ball's coming out of his hand really good. The velocity is up. It's in some ways the best I've ever seen him throw a baseball.
Strike one. Could be one of the fun stories to watch next spring training. Another than 2.
92-mile-an-hour fastball to get started, and then that changeup where he pulls the string.
And then a fastball at 93 to the corner. Carved him up. And Hunter Pence going to get one final at bat. One ball, no strikes. Two and 0. He's saying, give me something to hit. I don't get to do this again. Well placed, 2 and 1. Ball 3 on Pence.
He has been known to swing as soon as the ball leaves your hand. Not a bad one to cheat on right here if you think it's your last at bat in the big leagues, and for sure with the Giants.
Well, both strikes have been perfectly located. The count is full. Very cool moment. He doesn't want to walk.
The respect that the Giant bench has shown for him. This is the first time the whole game that every player has been on their feet and watching this moment.
Another payoff pitch to him. The contract expiring with the Giants. He said he's not totally sure what the future will hold if they look to do something with another team. He's just confident that this is probably the end of the road here. And so his final at-bat in a Giants uniform.
Fitting that he wears number 8, and this is the 8th pitch.
It's another 3-2. It's still fitting for a grinder like him that it's going 9 pitches. He's down on strikes. Cold-hearted Julio Urias. Cold-blooded. Wonderful career for Hunter Pence. Talk about a season being a story that writes itself, right? From the start to the finish. Getting near the end of this book. One more page in the regular season tomorrow with the Rockies coming to Dodger Stadium for game 163. Joe Panik. I always like to think of it too like a really good friend. Baseball, who's there every single day. like a really good friend, you know, when a friend's gone and you're not talking to that friend anymore, there's a huge void, like reaching the off season. You always want to delay that as long as you can. The Dodgers have found a way to delay it a little bit longer at the very least. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Panic. At least 2 more games. Fly to left field. Tim Locastro is going to catch the final out of game 162, and there will be a game 163 at Dodger Stadium tomorrow as the Dodgers find a way this weekend to sweep the San Francisco Giants. And with the Nationals taking at least one, it took 1 game from Colorado over the weekend. It'll be a tiebreaker to decide the division tomorrow.
The excitement and the pressure continues.
1 o'clock on ESPN. Pregame at noon on Sportsnet LA. For Earl Hershiser, Alana Rizzo, and the rest of our crew, Joe Davis saying so long from San Francisco and fasten those seatbelts for what hopefully is a long run through October.